This week, our exclusive interview with Mr. Michael Banner, a reverse mortgage professional and the founder and podcast host of 62whoknew.com. We have a lot of questions and ground we're going to be covering this week. We'll have more right after this short message.
Liberty Reverse wants to help you grow your reverse mortgage business with our proprietary Equity IQ product suite. Equity IQ gives your borrowers access to more funds, lowers their upfront costs, and expands eligibility for home purchases. Learn more at partners.libertyreversemortgage.com today. This ad is intended for mortgage professionals only and is not a consumer solicitation. PHH Mortgage, doing business as Liberty Reverse Mortgage, is an equal housing lender. NMLS number 2726.
Welcome back to the Industry Leader Update. I'm your host, Shannon Hicks. This week, we have an exclusive interview with Mr. Michael Banner. Many of you may remember his name. He's been a longtime reverse mortgage professional. He now resides and originates in the state of Florida, but he's also a host of his own podcast. And recently, I was on the show and we had a very interesting discussion about the growth of our industry, or more correctly, the lack of growth in our industry, and how we might be able to reverse course and increase HECM originations. Well, Michael, thank you so much for joining us, and it's good to have you back. For our viewers that are not familiar with you, tell us just a little bit about yourself and your experience in the reverse mortgage industry.
Well, I'm a dinosaur, Shannon, and a lot of people call me that here, and I've been doing reverse mortgages for about 21 years, and I'd say for the two words that would describe my feelings about reverse mortgages are addicted and obsessed. Because I think it's just an incredible product, just a staggering product that has already helped more than 1 million seniors either maintain or increase their quality of life, but is going to help millions of more in the future. But like a lot of industries, we're suffering right now. We're at a precipice. That's my opinion. I think we've been at that precipice for a few years. But make no mistake about it. I mean, other than Social Security, I don't know if there's a product better equipped to help clients 62 years old and above in this country, especially now with longer lifespans and people living to be in their 90s. I don't know if there's a better product that can help them than reverse mortgages. But the industry has to change its ways. It's, what's that old cliche that our parents always told us and their parents told them, if you keep doing the same thing over and over again, you're going to get the same results. Well, we're kind of a little insane here in the reverse mortgage business the last few years, and I think it's time to stop doing the same thing, and let's get some better results for this incredible product.
So when you say precipice, can you kind of briefly encapsulate what you mean by that? Well,
unlike obviously, you're my favorite podcast. And I know, industry professionals are watching, but just for that consumer for a second, unlike most mortgages, when rates go up, well, you qualify for less. Your payment is higher. Well, there is no payment in a reverse mortgage, obviously. So as we went to bed in 2022, and woke up, at 2.5% and 3% fixed rates, and woke up in January of 2023 to 5, 6, 6.5, 7.5% rates. We saw our loan amounts, the amount that we can give a client, the percentage of their home, their equity, just bottomed out. Now you bring that there are also certain reductions in the last several years from HUD itself lowering our loan amounts, that it crippled us. At this point, let's face it, if you're a 65 to 68-year-old borrower, depending on what state you're in, we're barely lending you 33% of the equity in your home, which means that for the last couple of years, the reverse mortgage is really for people that actually have no mortgage whatsoever or a very small mortgage. But that person that I've been taking care of, that we've all been taking care of for the last 20 years, that called and said, I have a a $600,000 house and I owe $300,000 on it. I have about 50% equity. Oh my God, please, Shannon, let's get rid of my mortgage payment. It'll make my life so much better. Well, for most of the last 20 years, we could help that person. Now we have to say, I'm sorry. You're about $100,000 short. We can't help you. And what's brought us to that precipice is if we don't change the way we do business, if we don't change our target audience, if we don't stop waiting for, God, I hate these three words, but they're used all the time, the low-hanging fruit. That senior that's in such bad trouble that, of course, he'll call us. And, of course, we want to help that person. There's so many other things that a reverse mortgage can be used for. But our industry doesn't wrap its arms around that. Our industry doesn't go to that. And that's what I mean. We're at a precipice. We're waiting for rates to come down.
And that's interesting because, Mike, the top producers that I've spoken with in the nation, in fact, one was George Verban. His approach, he's not dealing with people that are just on the edge of financial insolvency or, who are seeing the loan as a loan of last resort. It's almost a self-fulfilling prophecy because we're oftentimes selling it to people where it is their last resort. But his approach is more holistic where, hey, this is part of an overall comprehensive financial plan, and here's how it would work. So what can we do as an industry to get off of that precipice of stagnation, really, or even declining volumes, and move forward a little bit more into the mainstream?
Well, the first thing we could start doing is kind of redefining ourselves. When you look at LinkedIn or Facebook, I think the reverse mortgage industry has more of a presence on LinkedIn and Facebook than they do anywhere else. We're a very, very small industry. We just are. There's 1.5 million mortgage loan officers in this country, and I bet you there's 500 or 600 that do reverse mortgages. And of that 500 or 600, I won't even attempt to guess, but I would say it would be we could count on the fingers of both of our hands how many are actually really making a living as a full-time reverse mortgage person. There's hundreds of people doing it, but the majority are doing one or two a quarter. And then there's some great people out there doing wonderful things. But again, we keep doing the same thing. And we go back to, as you said, making it part of an overall retirement plan. And again, knowing that our audience is the industry, we have our costs working against that. We are a very high cost loan. 2% mortgage insurance premium. You do a reverse mortgage on $1 million house. That's $20,000 in closing costs. And we haven't even got to the origination fee or the closing costs of your individual state. So people hate when I say this, but we are a high cost loan. We are a high cost loan that lends a very small amount of your equity. So we've kind of got two strikes going against us before we even start. And I think recognizing that may help the industry go, well, we can't change that. We do have some people trying to change that. I think as we were discussing right before this call, there was a wonderful call yesterday with Mutual of Omaha. And I know they put it out to the public, so I'm sure they're okay with me saying this. They're working very closely with HUD to try and get us a lower cost option for a reverse mortgage. Well, just cheers and kudos and respect to Alex Pistone and Mutual of Omaha. I'm glad some lenders trying to do that. But there are other things we can do. You and I have discussed for so many years the HECM for purchase, a purchase reverse mortgage that would allow 62-year-old and above borrowers, and it's a niche, who are paying cash for their home to buy that much more home. We have people come here all the time. I say here, the west coast of Florida, Tampa Bay, and they just moved here from, let's say, Pennsylvania, and they have $500,000, from their exiting home, and and they came to Florida, or they would come to your state, California, where the homes are $27 million. So let's stick with Florida for a second. And they say to the realtor in the Tampa Bay area, or Sarasota, or Naples, or Boca Raton, I'd like to buy this beautiful home. This is what I want. And I have $500,000 in cash. And the realtor has to say, well, that's really good, but due to inflation in the last few years, $500,000, Mr. and Mrs. Smith, is not going to get you what it did years ago. And with the HECM for purchase, you could take that 65-year-old borrower who's got $500,000 in cash, and this math is correct, and increase that by 40%. You could say to that $500,000 cash buyer, let me show you a $700,000 house. And they go, whoa. And then I'll have to get a $200,000 mortgage. Yes, you will. But I don't want a payment. My financial planner, my son, my daughter, my trusted advisor said no payments now that I'm retiring. Well, this is a purchase reverse mortgage. You'll put up $500,000. A reverse mortgage lender will put up $200,000. You'll have your dream home, your $700,000 house, but you won't be obligated to make a principal and interest payment for the rest of your life, or as long as one of you live in the home. And just to do two quick more examples, you could take a $600,000 cash buyer and sell them an $840,000 house. You could take a $700,000 cash buyer and sell them a $980,000 house. Now, I do a lot of classes for realtors in Florida and a few other states, but mostly Florida. And I probably do a couple a month for the last 10 years. But now that inflation is here, I'm writing more purchase reverse mortgages than I ever have. Realtors are going, oh my God. I tell people all the time, I'm sorry, I can't give you what you want. You just don't have enough money. But to my knowledge, other than a few dinosaurs like myself, the reverse mortgage industry has not wrapped its arms around the real estate industry. It's a different world. It's a totally different world. But there's 2 million of them. There's 2 million realtors.
And that concludes this week's episode of the Industry Leader Update. Thank you so much for joining us. Be sure to comment and share your thoughts on our interview with Mike Banner. You can do that in the comments section below. Also, if you'd be so kind as to share this week's video on your LinkedIn network with other professionals. Don't forget, we do have a YouTube channel. Be sure to subscribe. That way you never miss any of our latest content. And each and every week, we curate the reverse mortgage news for you, the mortgage professional, that covers all things reverse mortgage and, yes, even real estate. That is HECM World Weekly. We have both an audio and a video edition of that podcast, and listeners can listen and subscribe on Apple Music and Spotify. Thanks again for joining us, and be sure to return next week for more reverse mortgage news, commentary, and analysis you'll only find here at HECM World. Have a great week.